Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and welcome to a new edition, the latest edition of Let's Taste. Once again, I have been very generously sent some samples by a wine company. In this case, it is from the Wingara Group. You may remember last year I opened some sparkling wines from the Wingara Group. I think included a cava from Spain. This is a range of wines playfully called La La Land, and I think they might have mentioned to me before, I'm not sure, but it's not really a range of wines that I've encountered. I'm not sure where they are typically sold. I believe they're sold both in the on-premise, as in restaurants and bars and hotels, and the off-premise, as in retail. I am interested to see if there is a theme, apart from the fact that they're very eye-catching labels with each wine, seemingly have a reasonably unique identity. So, all three of these La La Land wines have a recommended retail of $16, right at that sweet spot, particularly for retail. So let's start off with the first wine, which is a Pinot Gris from 2015. Happy St. Patrick's Day for everyone who celebrated it. Don't know if many people celebrate St. Patrick's Day with wine. Very juicy, exuberant, ripe pears, approaching sort of tropical guava notes, ripe red delicious apples, bit of a sort of a leesy note, kind of a waxiness, definitely in that Pinot Gris realm rather than Pinot Grigio, which is going to be a bit lighter and crisper. Let's taste. It kind of has a candied note right in the middle of the palate. Kind of a squeakiness. Something I'm not really enjoying about that wine. It's definitely fresh, relatively light. It has very clean, solid fruit, pushing into the kind of peach realm. But there's kind of a too clean note in there. Alcohol wise, it's 13.5. So yeah, again, that's definitely in that Pinot Gris realm. Something's not quite right for me in there. It's kind of like a cleanness that's sort of approaching a kind of almost a sour kind of quality. That's not necessarily something that I'm really familiar with. I haven't seen it before. Nice and cold, that would do very well. Alright, let's move on to the reds. So, what have we got? We have a Tempranillo and a Malbec. Alright, I'm going to look at the Tempranillo first. Again, 2015 vintage, and recommended retail $16. Being Tempranillo, they've gone with a sort of a Spanish themed label. Let's have a look. Definitely characteristic of the variety. It has some nice earthy red fruits. Definitely in that kind of pomegranate, raspberry, red plum realm. There's sort of a bit of a candied note to this one as well, but it's actually kind of in a nice way. There might have even been a bit of sort of carbonic action going on in that ferment. Yeah, I like that. It does remind me of Spanish Tempranillos. Let's taste. Nice generosity. Definitely got fruit to it, but there is a sort of a nice, very subtle sort of savoury element to it. Really, shush. This one, I think it does need food. It really would benefit from food. Definitely, you know, with meats, that kind of thing. You could even have it with some cheeses as well. On its own, I think, you know, it's easy enough to drink, but this would be really good with food. So that's what I'm going to recommend it with. Have this one with food because it has that kind of savoury edge, that kind of interesting meatiness and earthiness, and dried herbal note as well, which is what I like to see, particularly in red wines, when they're going to be going with food. That's a really, really good example. Where's that from? Doesn't say. Anyway. Third wine, also a red wine, again from 2015, is, it actually has a name. El Loco? Malbec. Malbec. Typically you see, it originates from the southwest of France. Its cultural home now really is more Argentina, and that's possibly where it's getting that El Loco name in celebration of Argentinian Malbec. So, definitely in a darker fruit realm, sort of black cherries, blood plums. There's a nice earthiness to this one as well. I'm liking the earthiness in these two red wines. Not necessarily something you see in a sub $20 retail priced red wine from Australia. Yeah, there's kind of a nice brooding note to it, but you know, without that kind of really concentrated, I don't know what that noise was, aggressiveness. Let's taste. This one's a bit softer, a bit rounder, more mellow. Stylistically, I think it has probably more in common with Merlot than it does Malbec. It looks varietally like Malbec, but it's not quite as sort of tight and tannic as certainly a lot of Argentinian Malbec. But that's obviously taking out of the equation the way that they tend to manipulate Malbec in particularly in Mendoza, where you know there's more barrel work, and you know they're really working the extracting the tannins a lot more. This is right in that sweet spot for me as far as it being fresh and soft and good fruit, but also having some tannin, having some structure that you know is going to have it carry back a little bit further on the palate. So I think for a $16 retail price, that is a really solid red wine. So for me, definitely the two red wines are the winners in this lineup. I believe that this is the first vintage of the Pinot Gris, so I think it possibly needs to, you know, a few more vintages to kind of get that one, you know, right. But definitely have a look out for the Tempranillo. I think it's an excellent example of an Australian expression of what the Spanish variety has, and this the Malbec El Loco is I like saying El Loco is a really interesting example of Malbec. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this tasting. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you have any questions about these wines, let me know, or head to the La La Land website. Come and visit me at intrepidwino.com. Make sure you follow me on social media. But until next time, cheers.